Hello everybody, this is Terry Walsh, the President and CEO of Friendship Villages and the Executive Director of the Sunset Hills campus. Welcome to April 2nd, 2020. I wanted to spend a little bit of time with you to talk about some of the things we're doing and some of the things we're planning to do with our current operations, as well as with the COVID-19 pandemic that we're all experiencing now, unfortunately, with our inability to have groups gather and have meetings together. We thought that maybe a video such as this might be helpful to bring everybody up to speed on what we're doing and how we're responding to the COVID-19 epidemic, as well as what we're doing in the rest of our operations. So I hope that you're able to hear this and be able to use this information for your benefit in lieu of having our normal all-resident meeting or the town hall meeting. First, I want to say, we want to thank God for the beautiful weather we've been having the last few days. It's been gorgeous outside, and in the cloud of the COVID-19 pandemic, God is smiling on us with a little bit of nice weather, and we want to really thank them for that. I also want to thank Mike Hambley and the team at Friendship Village in Chesterfield and the entire team here at Friendship Village in Sunset Hills. This is not an easy task. Dealing with this crisis that no one here asked for and no one planned has been our all day long, everyday mission to take care of you and to take care of our staff, as well as our staff and their families, to try to keep everybody protected in this environment. And we have gone to great lengths, as you know, to do everything we can possibly do to keep you safe. But at the same time as we're keeping you safe, trying to keep you comfortable and coddled as much as Friendship Village normally does. So I hope that you appreciate all of the work that our employees are doing. Our employees do not know a time clock. They know their mission, and they know what they're doing every day, and they're not watching the clock. They're watching to make sure that they're taking care of you. As you know, we've taken a lot of measures to enhance our not only physical security, but our COVID-19 security and our precautions across both of our campuses. You know that no visitors are allowed at any point during the day at any level of care anymore. We initially started doing that in the care centers, and then we moved to assisted living, and also now in independent living, where we do not allow any visitors to come into the building, but only in the care centers or in assisted living where there is an end-of-life situation, and that visitor or that family member who's critical in the end-of-life situation still has to go through all of the screening that everybody else has to go through. But even when the staff come to work every day, the staff has to go through the screening, very robust screening. I have to do it myself. In fact, the other day I visited the Chesterfield campus, and that day I had my temperature checked 4 times. When I came to work in Sunset Hills, I got my temperature checked. When I left and went to Chesterfield, I got my temperature checked. Mike Hambley and I walked through one of the new buildings, the new clubhouse in Chesterfield, and Parrott checked our temperature. And then I came back to Sunset Hills to come back to my office here, and I got my temperature checked again. So even I get my temperature checked. I have to go through all the questions. I have to sanitize my hands. So every employee on our campus is doing that. We have also instructed all of our employees to call before they come to work if they're feeling any symptoms from the COVID-19 virus. If they're at home and they feel like they've got any of the symptoms, I don't want them to come to work and think about it and then mention it to somebody. I want them to think about it at home and call their supervisor before they come into work. And then what happens is the supervisor calls our employee health nurse, and they discuss the situation. They try to identify what the cause is and whether then the appropriate course of action is for that employee to stay home or that employee to come on to work, because it's unlikely that it might be the coronavirus. So that's their first action. The second action is, of course, notifying us if they've been involved with any people that they might know that have been exposed to the coronavirus, or if they've been traveling anywhere where the coronavirus is known to be prevalent. They are also advised to call their supervisors first before they come to work. But then we also do that screening when they come in the door. So we're doing a lot of things for our employees before they come in the door. We're also screening new residents that move into our brand new independent living buildings on both campuses, the Rockhurst in Chesterfield and the Devonshire here in Sunset Hills. Our new residents are being thoroughly screened. They are being asked to stay restricted to their new buildings. They can roam within their buildings, but we're asking them to remain in those buildings for up to 14 days. We're actually issuing all of them their own thermometer, and they are to take their temperature and call the care navigator on either campus to report their temperature once a day, and so that we can monitor their conditions. When they're past their 14-day period of time, they'll be free to roam the campus like all of you are. So we're taking that measure as well, just as a precaution. We're not assuming that they've got any of the symptoms of the COVID-19 virus, but we are taking those precautions both for them and for you to help us make sure that we keep this virus off our campus. I did put on our Channel 900 last night some slides asking for you to do certain things relative to the COVID-19 pandemic. If you feel, or if your physician has given you an order to take a COVID-19 test, meaning they might suspect that you could have it, you are to immediately call your care navigator. That's either Michelle in Chesterfield or Amy in Sunset Hills. If your doctor gives you an order to get a coronavirus test, you must call the care navigator immediately to let them know, and they will advise you on what to do next. At that point, if you are given an order, we will ask you to quarantine in your apartment or your villa until we get a test result back, because we won't know. You will be a presumptive positive, as we call it. But just until the test comes back. When the test comes back, the results will go to you. They won't come to us because we're not your physician. When those results come to you, if you are taking one of those tests, you must again immediately call your care navigator and report the results of the test to them. If your result, hopefully, pray to God, is negative, then all is well and you will no longer be in quarantine and you'll be out among the public just like everybody else. If your test comes back, or should happen to come back, heaven forbid, come back negative, we will ask you at that point in time, first you have to call your care navigator. We will ask you to work with us and then temporarily move to a very nice location, our new memory care building at Sunset Hills, for a period of time until we go through quarantine with you, with professional nursing staff, and wait out the COVID-19 episode for you for about 14 days of quarantine in our literally brand new but yet unoccupied memory care building in Sunset Hills. We do not have an equivalent building yet in Chesterfield, so we would ask you to transport with us down to Sunset Hills, where there will be professional nursing staff just to monitor you. But for our independent living and assisted living residents, except for Chesterfield only independent living residents, should you come up positive on a COVID-19 test, we are going to ask you to come with us to our memory care unit just to put you in a place where we can watch you closely, take care of you, feed you, keep you busy and entertained, and keep you away from the normal regular population to protect the population and to protect you. So I would ask you that you please cooperate with us in this regard in our new memory care unit in Sunset Hills, which just opened, but we have not moved any new residents in there. It happens to be isolated from the other buildings, or able to be isolated. It's got its own air handling system and filters, and it is ready for you if you need it, and it's a very comfortable place to be. So again, that's only if you test positive for the COVID-19 virus. And we pray that that never has to happen. On another note, on finances, away from the COVID-19 issue, we are still doing both campuses, both Chesterfield and Sunset Hills are are ahead of budget for the year. That's not to say that we're not going to have a challenge with the COVID-19 issues. It is costing us more money to do some of the things that we're doing. All of the hand sanitizing machines, all of the hand sanitizer solution that goes in the machines, all of the additional security, the food delivery packages, the disposable packages cost money. All of the things that we are doing to try to keep you safe but yet comfortable during the COVID-19 episode do cost some money. Now, we are saving some money, probably, in gasoline for shuttle buses because we're not taking people to activities anymore and some other things. Where this shakes out in the end, whether there's give and take and savings here but more expense there, we don't know. We really don't know. We've only been doing this for a couple of weeks. We don't have good numbers, but we are separately tracking all of the expenses that we're spending specifically for the COVID-19 virus response, separate from our regular operations. And so we don't have all of the numbers done yet for the month of March, but even when we get them done, there's only going to be a fraction of March in those numbers. So we really won't have a good picture until we get an entire month of April numbers in at the end of April. But overall, at this point in time, we're doing very well financially. In fact, our CFO, Tim Vossi, spent some time last week on a call with our rating agency, the Fitch rating agency, the people who give us our bond ratings. And on the call, it was not a call where we participate, it was a call where we listen. And the Fitch advisors from New York City talked about the types of organizations and their financial record and when they become concerned about the financial stability of a company. And what they outlined in their discussion was for an investment grade bond, which we are not. When we borrowed our $201 million for our construction project, we dipped barely below investment grade, and that's not an issue. But for investment grade bond companies, they get nervous now, particularly with the COVID-19 issue. They get nervous when one of those companies has less than 500 days cash on hand. We have right now, even with the stock market dip, which we all know has happened, even with the stock market decline over the last couple of weeks, we are right now between 650 and 700 days cash on hand. So we're in a very, very strong position. For companies who are non-investment grade bonds, which is us, they want a company to have at least 300 days cash on hand. So as you can hear, what I'm saying to you is we are much stronger even for the investment grade bond companies than certainly their standard is. So we're doing very well, and we would not at all be on a list of concern for the Fitch rating agency, and that's certainly something we want to keep track of, obviously. But we're doing very well. Last week, we also had a call with all of our investors. We have a call with them every quarter, so every 3 months, we have a call with all of our investors. And it's set up and managed out of an office in New York City. And all of our investors who bought all of our big chunks of bonds for our project call in, and we give a report on how we're doing on certain things. And the date for all of that data was at the end of December. So we did the second quarter bondholders call for all of our performance as of the end of December. Of course, that was before the COVID-19 issue happened. And we were extremely strong in that. And normally these bondholder calls go off without a hitch, and we don't even get a question when they open it up for questions and answers at the end of the call after I've given an operational update and a census and occupancy update, and Tim Vossi gives a financial update. Usually it's the end of the call. Nobody ever has a question. This time they had 2 questions. One question was, have you seen the COVID-19 issue degrading your sales or the number of people wanting to move in to our new units that we have just constructed? Has that been a problem? Have new residents been backing out of moving into your village because of the COVID-19 worry? And I am happy to report to you that the answer to that is not only have they not backed out, many of them are trying to accelerate moving in to the campus because they're home alone in a house, fending for themselves. They can't go anywhere. They're afraid to go to the grocery store. They don't have anybody looking out for them or taking care of them, and they're buttoned up in their own homes and can't move. They want to move here because they know we're here to take care of them. So not only have we not had residents back out of moving into the new apartments, they actually generally want to move in sooner now because of the situation, and that speaks volumes for their confidence in Friendship Village and what we're doing to try to protect our residents. The other question they asked was, because of the COVID-19 and the hospitals getting filled up now, in the hot spots around the country, a lot of the hospitals are getting filled up with COVID patients. Not as many around us yet, and hopefully won't. But their question was, a lot of nursing homes or skilled nursing facilities that rely heavily, very heavily on the Medicare Part A business for hip replacements or shoulder replacements and those sorts of things, are finding less volume or less work coming back to them from the hospitals because a lot of hospitals that are being overcome with the COVID-19 patients have stopped doing elective surgeries. By choice, they're stopping elective surgeries, so that's reducing the amount of business, Medicare business, going back into the skilled nursing facilities. They were wondering if that is an impact on us, if we've had a negative impact. And I'm happy to report that it has not been a negative impact on us. In fact, and I kind of mentioned this to the bondholders who were asking that question, by the time you're a senior, as you all are, some of those are not elective surgeries, they're required surgeries. If someone breaks a hip, it's not elective to have that hip repaired, or a shoulder. So we have actually not seen a reduction in that business for us, but only maximum 20% of our skilled nursing facility census comes from Medicare Part A. We are not completely married to the Medicare Part A business because most of our residents are long-term care and not Medicare. So even if that were to happen and there were to be a dip in the Medicare business, it wouldn't impact us very much, and it hasn't at this point. So we gave those answers to them. They were very satisfied with that. They're very happy with our financial performance. We have still sold all 52 apartments in Chesterfield. We are 71, as of today, 71 out of 76 of the new apartments sold and about to be moved into in Sunset Hills. We were at 72 apartments yesterday, but because one of our new residents, or one of the people who had deposited for the new building in Sunset Hills, has, since they put down their deposit, unfortunately has developed cancer. And they've decided not to move in because of the complications that they're experiencing with cancer. So unfortunately, because of that reason, they've decided not to move here, but it has nothing to do with COVID-19 or even the stock market decline or anything else. So we're still in very good shape here. In fact, as of April 1st, yesterday, our first resident moved into the Sunset Hills new building. Now our new residents were asking, I think I mentioned, to stay where they are in their new buildings for 14 days. So they're starting their clock ticking today and beginning to do their 14 days roaming their new building by themselves until their neighbors start moving in tomorrow. And the same has been happening in Chesterfield. And we're overall in very good shape, and we don't anticipate any issues. But again, we're still counting the dollars we're spending to protect you from COVID-19 and all the things that we're doing new and different today, and all of the other things that we're doing. I do want to express my gratitude to you for the positive, and I have to tell you, an overwhelmingly positive response that we have gotten on both campuses to the room delivery food service. I can't tell you how many compliments I have received from residents on both campuses. I know Mike and Manny hear this all the time in Chesterfield, and I hear this all the time in Sunset Hills. The residents, even though the menus aren't as big or long or robust as they are in the dining rooms, the food is excellent. And our residents, you have told me and Mike many times over how great it is. It's arriving hot and fresh. Now, Jim Hunzy at Sunset Hills, and I believe Manny will be doing this in Chesterfield, regrets that he can't always deliver ice cream with the meals because it melts before you get it. So I know at Sunset Hills we started today, and most likely Chesterfield will be starting sometime soon. We started our own version of the old neighborhood ice cream truck in our hallways, where our food service team today in Sunset Hills, and I suspect very soon in Chesterfield, walk the halls ringing bells, alerting the residents to the ice cream truck coming down the hall, where then they can pop their head out and grab an ice cream novelty for the afternoon. We're going to try to do that 1 or 2 days a week, just to add a little extra fun and spice to what we're doing. And so I hope that you're able to enjoy that. I want to ask you to continue to please be vigilant against the coronavirus. It's like a war on terror. We have to be on our game 100% of the time, 24/7. We cannot let up. The virus only has to sneak in once. We have to fight it off constantly, 24/7. And we need everybody in this fight. And that includes you. Please don't bring visitors. Please, if you have to go off campus, be careful where you're going. And make sure you are sanitized when you come back. If you need help getting groceries, you do not have to go to the store yourself. Our concierge on both campuses can help you with that. If you don't have to leave, don't leave. Both of our campuses are literally being surrounded by senior living communities that have caught the coronavirus. We are being surrounded, but we can fight it off. But it takes everybody to do it. It takes the staff knowing if they might have something to call before they come in. It takes our staff on site to keep watching each other to see if something's developing. It takes you to be vigilant. It takes everybody to win this fight, and we're doing it. We are doing it. As of today, we have had, knock on wood, we've had no presumptive positive cases or positive cases on either campus. And I applaud you and I applaud our staff for doing that. That is not an easy thing. And we're reading the headlines every day about another senior living community that gets it. And I don't know if it's a matter of time before we get it. I can't promise that we're going to be 100% successful for 2 months and 3 months going every day. But we're sure going to try. We're going to keep it going. We have to hang in there, and we've got to do this. We have a lot of resources for you. I encourage you to get on our website at friendshipvillagestl.com, which is our website has been named by Google as one of the best websites they've seen, particularly for a company like us. I encourage you to get on friendshipvillagestl.com, read our updates on the coronavirus. You also can find all of the videos that you've been watching from Lynn Meyer, our infection control specialist, who is literally one of the top infection control experts in the state of Missouri, who we happened to hire a couple of years ago, and thank God we did, because we're sure glad to have her now. So you have a lot of resources at your fingertips to understand what we're doing, to understand what we're doing next, and how we can continue to fight this fight. On the website, a lot of people call and wonder what we're doing because sometimes they think Friendship Village is just a nursing home. They don't understand that we also have independent living and assisted living and all the other levels of care. And so they don't understand that we've got different vulnerabilities throughout the campus at all those levels of care. So you will find, if you get on our website on the coronavirus update, which you cannot miss if you get on the homepage, there's a letter from me, and I start out by describing what all the levels of care are, that we're not just a nursing home. And then a very comprehensive rundown and list of all the things we've been doing to protect ourselves against the coronavirus on that. I encourage you to read that. And if your family is wondering what we're doing, point them to that website. It's all there. It's all laid out. I know there are families who are worried about you, and they ought to be. But I also want you to be able to reassure them that we're fighting this pretty well. Are we going to win this battle 3 months from now, or am I going to be able to sit here and talk to you and say that we did it? We don't have to worry. We have hit 100% success. I pray to God that I can do that. I can't promise right now that I can do that. But we are giving it our best shot. But we're all in this together, and we need all of you to help us. And I appreciate your understanding. I will be with you again in a few days. We'll do this again probably next week, and I'll give you another update next week on Channel 900. I hope that you're able to view this clearly. We will run this a couple of times in case you missed it, but ask your friends to watch it. If you do have any questions or things you would like me to address on a future video, just send a note to either Wilma if you're in Chesterfield, or to Sue Champion if you're in Sunset Hills. You can send them a note to ask a question or something you would like me to address on the next video, and I would be happy to do that. I don't have anything else to cover today. I'm really glad that we've done this. I know a lot of you haven't been able to hear from me or from Mike in person for several days now. And so using this technology, this gives us an opportunity to talk to you a little bit better than writing everything all the time. So I hope this has been helpful. Let us know, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you.